just a quick thing I wanted to do before the actual video starts. This morning I woke up to find I'd been given $5 on my Ko-fi page, which was amazing, absolutely amazing. Because I know I left the links in the description of all my videos, but I didn't think anyone would actually give to me. But I thought, you never know. I believe this saying is bloody unlikely, but not impossible. So that's good. Right, I'm going to sit down now because it's easier. But anyway, it really, really made me happy. And this person that gave me money, that gave me the Ko-fi, I'm not going to mention their name because I don't know if they want to be anonymous or not, or rather, well, I know who they are. And if they saw the post I put up, they probably know I know who they are because, names matching and all that lot. So I know this person is. So if you're watching, just want to say thanks a lot. You really, really made my day, and I cannot thank you enough. You have really made me very, very happy. You really have, and I cannot thank you enough. And I'm aware I've said that a few times now, but I won't mention your name just in case you do. I mean, if you want everyone to know as you, then feel free to do so in the comments because I know who you are. And if anyone else tries to take credit for it, I will let it be known that you're a known liar. So with all that done, let's begin the video, shall we? Hello everyone, and good evening or morning or afternoon, depending when you're watching this. I am ready for some more reading, and I hope you are too. As you can see, I have my therapy buddies with me. So, shall we begin? That's better. Sorry about that. If you remember, we're about to start chapter 7. Also, I should point out, I have the book. So, shall we? Excuse me. Chapter 7. Choosing to change. Excuse me. The previous chapters have discussed how OCD can start, how it keeps going, and how you can apply that understanding to move on and break free from OCD. Sometimes simply having this knowledge is not enough. You are doing your compulsions for very particular reasons. It's important to remember what is at stake, as now you have some knowledge about OCD, how it works and the consequences. Sticking with the OCD and not changing is an active choice. In this chapter we will talk more about helping you choose to move on from your OCD, and how to find and get the best out of professional help if you need it. Are you with me so far, people? Goals. In chapter 3, we asked you to think about your goals by reflecting on what the problem has taken from you and what you would like to do if you did not have this problem. We have spoken a lot about how you might start to go about changing and beating the OCD. Now is a good time to have a look at your goals again to remind yourself of why you want to go through the difficult process of breaking free. Well, do you know why you want to break free? I know I do. Dan is itching tonight. Okay. Pros and cons of changing. It should be clear that people begin to fall into obsessional patterns of thought and behaviour, not because of doing something wrong, because this is the only choice they have with the understanding they have at the time. A number of background factors can also play a role in the development of OCD, without it being a person's fault or even their choice. OCD then develops as the best coping mechanism available at the time, and it can feel like it works, or did work to some extent, which is a very powerful maintaining factor. But as we know, over time it becomes the problem, keeping people locked in its world of fear and safety seeking. Sometimes the initial sense that OCD helped to cope with a difficult situation can remain. It is not uncommon to fear whether you can cope with difficult Sorry, let me start that one again, shall we? It is not uncommon to fear whether you can cope with difficulties once you let go of your obsessions and compulsions. If this sounds familiar, then it is worth thinking. So, okay, I'm going a bit mad. So let's go again, shall we? If this sounds familiar, then it is worth thinking systematically about whether or not you really want to live without OCD. Write down on a piece of paper the advantages and disadvantages of being obsessional. What are the advantages and disadvantages of not being obsessional? Often this will help clarify the issues, as in the example of Jennifer, who has checking OCD. And if you have a look, there's a little thing. Now we all know what we obsess over, and deep down, we know why we do it. So pause the video for a moment. Actually, don't pause it yet. I'm going to give you a moment to pause it. So, pause it in a moment or so, okay? I'm going to give you the modes. I'll put the word pause on the screen in big letters. Okay? So, when you do pause, okay, I want you to have a good think about what it is you obsess over. And I want you to figure out why. And I want you to come up with one pro and one con as to why you obsess over that thing. Alright? Now, you don't have to write it down. You don't have to put it in the comment section, okay? I just want you to think about it, okay? Because this is about you, okay? It's not about me or anybody else. It's about you. You, the listener / viewer, okay? So in 5 seconds, I want you to pause it, okay? So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause. Okay, I'm going to presume you're unpausing it now. I stared at the camera for a bit just to give you time to really think about it. So, have you got your reasons? Good. Then hold on to them, okay? And really think about it, alright? Do you not? Do you not have your reasons? That's okay. Doesn't matter. You'll get there, okay? You, I know you, the indecisive one that doesn't quite know, you too will get there, okay? You'll get there, alright? Right, on with the book, shall we? Right, let's go through Jennifer's examples, okay? The advantages of being obsessional. It helps me feel safe. Can't argue with that, can you? The disadvantages of being obsessional. I feel really anxious all the time. That is very true. You do. I don't go out. I don't have any friends. And lastly, all I think about is danger and checking. So there you have it. Although you can feel safe with the obsessional checking, it doesn't last because you're still anxious about it all. It's like the front door of your home. You can check you've locked it. You can even go back to check, but eventually that thought, that little voice that says you may not have locked it, is going to come back. Alright? That voice is going to come back, okay? And what you got to do, okay, you've got to get rid of the voice. You know, the one that leaves that nagging little doubt in your mind. Okay? And this is why you need to beat OCD. This is why you need to beat it. Or at least subdue it for a decent amount of time. The advantages of not being obsessional. I could be normal. I could go out and meet people. Now there is something, people, okay? There's something there. You could be normal. Well, I don't like the word normal. You know that? I don't. I hate the word normal. It's a nice little sledgehammer to beat people into being the way you think they should be. I hate it. I'll be honest with you. I hate the word normal to have an absolute passion. Okay, so forget being normal, alright? You could go out and meet people, that's what you want. If you're not obsessional about it. If you're not obsessional about checking, you could go out and meet people. You could be what you consider to be your true self. Okay, forget normal. Okay, OCD is what stops you being your true self. Alright? Your true self. Now think about that, alright? Your true self may not fall under the category of normal, but it is you. Okay? And if the internet has taught me anything, is that there's tons of people out there who are also not normal. Okay? And are just as weird and eccentric as you are. Okay? So hold on to that thought, okay? Screw being normal, alright? Now back with the book. The disadvantages of not being obsessional. I might be less careful. Something could happen. Which leads us back to why we are obsessional in the first place. If you go back to the checking OCD, which is what we're on, you check things like you check your front door before once you've gone out to make sure it is actually locked. You may switch off your plugs because, heaven forbid, you don't want a plug to catch fire while you're in bed, do you? See, now not being obsessional could lead to those bad things happening. That's why you do it. Because the disadvantage of not being obsessional is the argument for being obsessional. But at the same time, actually no, forget that last bit. Well, what I was about to say, you don't actually know what I was going to say, so you can't really scrub it from your mind because it wasn't there in the first place. Anyway, as I was saying, the disadvantage of not being obsessional is the argument for being obsessional. And therein lies the trap. I don't know how to put this in words, people, but you know what I mean. You do. Okay, so stop looking at me like that, alright? Alright, back to the book. Consider as we did when thinking about Theory A and Theory B. The short-term and long-term effects of continuing with the obsessional behaviour versus becoming non-obsessional. We have already used the metaphor of an insurance policy to think about the price of safety that the OCD is selling you. See, the book explains this a lot better than I can. I still stand by what I said about being normal, okay? Don't be normal, okay? Be you, alright? If you don't know who you is, find out. Or at least try to, anyway. Anyway, we've already used the metaphor of an insurance policy to think about the price of safety that the OCD is selling you. And yes, I'm aware I just read that sentence out. Perhaps a more apt version of this is that OCD is really like a protection racket. The problem comes in, creates an atmosphere of fear and danger, and then offers to help protect you from the danger if you follow the OCD rules. The danger is very much coming from the OCD itself, and following the rules will cost you dearly. As an exercise, it really is worth thinking ahead a few years to what it would be like if you continue to be obsessional and to follow the rules that OCD has set for you. Imagine it's the 21st birthday party of the eldest child of a mother with obsessional concerns about keeping her children safe, and the child reads out the following speech. I won't be doing a voice for this, it'll be my regular one. Firstly, thank you all for coming to my 21st birthday party. Thank you friends and family, but mostly thank you Mum for keeping me alive until now. I know this must have been a difficult task due to the many hours that you put into it since I was born. It is a shame that this has left you too exhausted to play any games with me in the evenings. But I know that you are doing your best, and as I say, I am grateful to be alive. Might have been nice to be allowed out once in a while to play with the other children or have them over. I realised that the threat this presented to me must have been a very great danger. Of course I knew that when you shouted at me to wash my hands, it was because you were worried about my safety. This helped me learn that these things were very important for survival. As I say, the proof is that I'm here now. But that's passive aggressive, wasn't it? That was a very passive aggressive speech from a child, or rather a young adult, who is probably very close to going no contact with their parents. See, the thing is, And I know I'm showing a lot of foresight. See, imagine I'm not a parent, okay, so bear in mind I'm saying from what I've seen, okay, not what I've actually experienced. I can imagine the desire to keep your child safe is probably paramount. I can imagine you become paranoid about many, many things. But as children, you need to make mistakes sometimes. You need to learn yourself. Otherwise, you don't. Because if you don't learn those mistakes when you're growing up, you'll learn them when you're an adult. And that can be a lot more hazardous. Because when you're a child, you make a mistake, your parents are there to pick you up. They're there to, they make sure you're not falling over, you're not on the ground. They'll be there to help you up. But when you're an adult, you don't have that support network. You're going to be stuck learning lessons then, and people around you who have already learned these lessons will be looking at you as if you're mad. Right, rant over. Back to the book. Think through all the areas that OCD is affecting in your life. There could be an alternative to this picture if you change what you are doing and live according to the idea that the problem is theory B. Think it through. The birthday speech could read, still not doing the voice by the way, people. Firstly, thank you all for coming to my 21st birthday party. Thank you friends and family, but mostly thank you mum for being so loving and so courageous in dealing with your problems. I know this must have been a difficult task due to the many, many hours that you used to spend on it. It was great that you had more and more time to do stuff with me. And it's so fantastic that despite your anxiety, you always let me out to play with the other children or have them over when I wanted. I didn't know at the time what you were going through, but I'm proud to now. My girlfriend says I'm a very sensitive and caring person, which must be down to you. So thank you. Much nicer version of the speech. Problems that people experience during recovery and how these can be overcome. Rocking the boat. If you have made some progress, it can be tempting to think that will do. Why risk going any further? Why rock the boat, as they say? At the start of tackling your problem, you thought yourself to be in a tempestuous sea in a tiny boat with no paddles. It would be foolhardy to rock the boat. However, now you have started tackling your problem, you can rock the boat. You can step out into a warm, shallow tropical sea and head off to the land. In fact, it is important that you do rock the boat to find out that there are no limits in getting OCD out of your life, and that you are able to do whatever you want without it. Rock the boat, then get out of it. Reinfected wound. Maybe there is one last bit of OCD you can't imagine tackling. It's tempting to think that it is okay to have just a bit of OCD. You know only too well excuse me, that if you give OCD an inch, it will take a mile. Imagine if you had a nasty infected wound on your arm. Your doctor gives you antibiotics and clears that up. Apart from one little bit, what will happen to the wound? I think we all know this, don't we people? It will become reinfected. The same risk applies with the little bit of OCD you might want to hang on to. Your hard-won gains may be lost. OCD is not helpful or a friend, and because it is a horrible bully, it will always go back on the deal and take more from you than you want to give it. Now, despite how it may seem, I'm not actually closing the book up tonight. This session is going to carry on a few more minutes at least, but I do need to get a drink. But you're not going to see that because I'm going to edit it out. And thanks to my great editing skills, it will be instantaneous.
2 hours later.
Did you miss me? I missed you. Each and every single one of you. Alright. A little bit more, I think, tonight, don't you people? When self-help isn't enough, getting professional help. It goes without saying that OCD is a tricky problem to beat and can be difficult to combat on your own, even with a good understanding of how it works and the principles of how to move forward. Everyone is unique, and the principles of how to move forward. And I read that bit wrong. So let's go again. Everyone is unique, and it is not possible in this book to describe all the different ways which OCD can trap you, and all the different ways that might be helpful when you're trying to overcome OCD. OCD sometimes disguises itself, tricking you into thinking you are doing something helpful, when in fact it is making things worse. It's worth doing a scale on page 20 every month to track whether your efforts are making the difference you can hope for. Right. Let's go back to page 20. I'll quickly show you so you can save it. See, don't know if you remember this bit. It was discussed in a previous chapter. I can't remember which video it was though, so I'm going to leave this up for a moment so you can quickly look. Right. Now, where was I? If you graph month by month, it should show a decrease overall. If you're trying your best and it's not making the difference you hope for, don't blame yourself. And that's worth holding on to build out for, okay? Do not blame yourself. Alright? Do not blame yourself. Even with plenty of knowledge and understanding, OCD has defeated many people. Sometimes you just can't do it on your own and need thoughtful support and expert guidance which links the principles set out here with your own unique pattern of reactions. This is the reason that it is a problem treated by trained and specialised therapists across the country. A body of experts and people who have experienced OCD have put together clinical guidelines for the National Institute for Clinical Excellence, otherwise known as NICE, regarding OCD and how best to treat it, based on a careful and detailed review of the existing evidence. In summary, the treatment of choice for both as I'm trying to turn this page. In summary, the treatment of choice for both children and adults with OCD is cognitive behaviour therapy, which you remember we talked about in a previous series of book readings. Cognitive behaviour therapy is a form of talking therapy including exposure and response prevention. Many people find they also benefit with the additional support of medication alongside the therapy. Selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors are usually a medication of choice for treating OCD. The website addresses are given in the resources section, which I discussed before, but we'll go back to it when we actually reach that page because you're about 40 pages away from that. Excuse me, people have a niche. The website address is given in the resources section, as we discussed earlier, so that you can read either the full guidance, which is not, or the version specifically written for sufferers and carers. If you do decide to seek expert help, please remember that your therapist will not do the hard work. As usual, that is up to you. Cognitive behaviour therapy can be thought of as a version of self-help in which support is offered by a therapist who can work with you to move through beating your problem and troubleshooting any difficulties as they occur. A good way of thinking about it is that it's like having a coach, trainer or teacher. You have to do the actual work, while the therapist's job is to help you understand what you need to do and work with you to improve what you're doing. As that process continues, you should begin to see what you need to do yourself. You need to become your own coach. So how to get the treatment you want? Although attempts are being made to improve this, access to good quality psychological therapy can be patchy, whether it is via the National Health Service or private therapy. Getting highly specialist help is particularly difficult. Here is some guidance, which we'll go through in the next video, on how to go out finding a therapist and how to get the most out of the treatment you're offered. Now, I've not sought out professional help of any kind. My treatment is the books and this vlog, which I'm sticking to at the moment. And quite admittedly, professional help is not going to be cheap and it won't be accessible to a lot of people. I imagine most of the people watching this video probably can't afford to just, get a therapist, which is understandable because that's life, especially in these hard modern times, where money doesn't stretch like it used to. But that's one of the reasons I make these videos. This helps us all, because I don't think I will ever be fully cured of my problems. But what I can do is keep them under control. At least for today, anyway. I mean, obviously I'd love to cure it, but that's a long-term goal. I'm more worried about the short-term goals. I'm sure you understand. Hope you do anyway. Anyway, I'm going to finish this here because it's been 20 plus minutes now, which I think is a good amount of time. So I don't want to keep these too long. So until next time, I hope you're fine. I hope you're all taking care of yourselves. So until next time, bye.